Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I am incredibly excited about today's conversation because we have two guests who have been together for over 800 years, running what is arguably the world's largest operation, delivering joy to billions of children every single Christmas around the globe. But recently, they've been going through something that so many couples and families can relate to in their own lives. We're talking about burnout, mental health challenges, struggling marriages, and a relationship that's having to evolve and transform in ways they never imagined possible when they first started this journey together. Please welcome to the show two people I never thought I'd actually get to meet in person, but here they are, sitting right across from me. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, everybody. Come on out here, you two. I'm so glad you're here today.
Oh my goodness. Come here, both of you. Thank you so much for being here. Please have a seat and get comfortable. Can I just say, I still can't believe this is happening right now. You're actually real, sitting right here in front of me.
We're very real, Kelly, and thank you so much for having us on your show today. I have to be honest with you, though. There are some days recently where I don't feel very real anymore. Some days I wake up and I'm not even sure who I am or what I'm supposed to be doing.
Thank you for this opportunity, Kelly. We've been keeping up appearances and staying silent about what's really been happening behind the scenes for such a long time now. I think we both realized that we just can't continue doing that anymore. It's time to tell the truth about everything.
Santa, let me start with you, because I know this is difficult to talk about publicly. You've been doing Christmas, running this entire global operation for literally centuries now. When did you first start to realize that something was seriously wrong and that you might be in trouble?
It started about 2 years ago, and at first I thought I was just having a bad week or maybe a bad month. I started forgetting things that should have been automatic for me. Small things at first, like which delivery route I had already planned out or whether I'd already visited a particular house the previous year. Then it progressed to bigger things that really scared me, Kelly. I'd forget children's names, even though I had known them since they were born. I'd forget entire cities that I was supposed to visit. And the anxiety that came with all of this forgetting, it was overwhelming and constant every single day. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a complete panic, my heart racing, unable to breathe properly. All I could think was, what if I miss a child this year? What if I make a terrible mistake? What if, after all these centuries of doing this perfectly, I finally fail everyone?
That sounds like an enormous amount of pressure to be carrying around on your shoulders every single day. I can't even imagine what that must feel like, knowing that so many people are depending on you and counting on you to show up for them no matter what.
It's the weight of the entire world's childhood joy and innocence, Kelly. And I've been carrying it for so long, for so many centuries, that I didn't even realize just how impossibly heavy it had become until I finally started to buckle and collapse under the weight of it all.
Mrs. Claus, I want to bring you into this conversation now. When did you first start noticing these changes in your husband? When did you realize that something was seriously wrong and that he was struggling in ways he'd never struggled before in all your time together?
I think I noticed the warning signs long before he was willing to acknowledge them himself, which is pretty typical in these situations. He would tell me the exact same story 3 separate times in a single day, not remembering that he'd already told me. He completely stopped sleeping through the night regularly. He stopped eating properly, just picking at his food without any real appetite. And the joy that used to light up his entire face whenever he talked about Christmas and the children, that special sparkle in his eyes, it just gradually dimmed and eventually disappeared almost completely over time.
That must have been absolutely heartbreaking for you to watch happening to someone you love so deeply. What did you do when you started seeing all of these changes? How did you try to help him or support him through whatever was happening?
At first, I did what so many women do in these situations, Kelly. I tried to compensate for his struggles by doing more myself. I took on additional responsibilities that he used to handle. I streamlined our entire operational system. I handled logistics and management that had always been his domain. But eventually, I had to face a really difficult truth. I couldn't fix what was happening inside him, no matter how hard I worked or how much I took on. What he needed was real professional help.
That's such an important realization. And I think it's something that resonates with so many women watching right now who are going through similar situations. We see someone we love struggling and drowning, and our immediate instinct is always to think we can fix it if we just work harder. Santa, I have to ask you this question because I think it's important for people to hear your answer. Did you resist getting help at first? Were you reluctant to admit that you needed support, that you couldn't handle this on your own anymore?
Oh, Kelly, I resisted it completely and absolutely at first. I'm Santa Claus, right? I'm supposed to be perpetually jolly and strong and essentially invincible in everyone's imagination. The idea of publicly admitting that I was struggling with anxiety and depression and memory problems, it felt like admitting I wasn't really Santa anymore. It felt like I was letting down every single person who had ever believed in me, every child who had written me a letter, every parent who had told their kids that Santa was coming. If I admitted I was failing, what did that mean for Christmas itself?
That vulnerability must have been absolutely terrifying for you to face. So what changed? What was the moment that finally made you decide that you needed to ask for help and that you couldn't continue on this path anymore?
She found me at 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting alone in my workshop, completely surrounded by thousands of letters from children that I couldn't remember whether I'd read them or not. I looked up at her face and I saw how worried she was, how completely exhausted she looked. And in that moment, I realized something that should have been obvious all along. I wasn't just hurting myself by refusing to get help and refusing to admit I was struggling. I was actively hurting her too, the person I love most in the entire world.
That night, we sat together and we talked for 6 straight hours, Kelly. We really talked deeply and honestly about everything we'd both been avoiding and refusing to say out loud for far too long. All the fears, all the worries, all the things we'd been too scared to admit.
What did you say to each other during that conversation? I know it's personal, but I think it could really help people who are going through similar struggles in their own relationships to hear what that honest conversation sounded like.
I told him that I couldn't just stand by and watch him slowly destroy himself anymore, that I loved him too much to be silent about it. I told him I was genuinely scared about what would happen to him, to Christmas, to both of us, if things continued going the way they were.
And I told her something that I had never said out loud to anyone before, not in 800 years of doing this job. I looked her in the eyes and I said, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't think I'm capable of being Santa Claus the way everyone needs me to be.
Wow, that must have been one of the hardest things you've ever had to say in your entire life. Just admitting that out loud, speaking those words into existence. That takes incredible courage and strength, even though it probably didn't feel that way at the time.
It was the most terrifying sentence I've ever spoken, Kelly, because Christmas isn't just what I do, it's who I am. Or at least, it's who I thought I was. Without Christmas, without being Santa Claus, I genuinely didn't know who I was supposed to be anymore.
So what happened after that incredibly honest conversation between the two of you? Did you reach out to someone for professional help? Did you see a doctor or a therapist who can help you understand what was happening?
We have a doctor at the North Pole. His name is Dr. Fleury, and he specializes in both magical health and mental health issues. He examined me thoroughly and diagnosed me with severe clinical anxiety, major depression, and something he called magical depletion syndrome, which was completely new to me.
Magical depletion syndrome? I've never heard of that before. Can you explain what that actually means and what causes it? I'm sure a lot of people watching are wondering the same thing I am about what that diagnosis actually entails.
Basically, I've been using magic continuously for centuries. Emotional magic, the magic of belief, the magic of joy and wonder. I've been drawing on these magical reserves over and over and over again without ever properly resting or recharging them. It's like running a battery down to absolutely nothing and then doing it again.
That's such a powerful metaphor, and I think it applies to so many people who aren't even using literal magic. We all run ourselves down to nothing, giving and giving and giving without ever stopping to recharge. So is there a treatment? Is there a way to recover from this?
Yes, there's treatment, but it's not easy or quick. I need genuine rest, real rest, not just taking a day off here and there. I need regular therapy sessions with a professional counselor. I'm taking medication now to help with the anxiety and depression. And most importantly, I need to share the load.
And that brings us to you, Mrs. Claus, because from what I understand from the research my team did preparing for this interview, you've been doing significantly more than just helping or supporting behind the scenes for a very, very long time now.
That's actually putting it pretty mildly, Kelly. I do bake cookies. I'm quite good at it, actually, and I enjoy doing it. But that represents maybe 2% of what I actually do on a daily basis to keep Christmas running smoothly year after year after year.
So tell us, what does the other 98% look like? Because I think most people, if they're being honest, have this image of you in an apron, baking cookies, and maybe knitting scarves for the elves. But that's not the reality at all, is it?
No, that's not even close to reality. I run all of our operations, every single one of them. I manage our entire workforce of 1,247 elves, which includes hiring, scheduling, conflict resolution, performance reviews, and everything else that comes with managing over 1,000 employees. I handle all of our global logistics, which is entirely complex. Route planning, real-time weather monitoring, time zone calculations across the entire planet, traffic pattern analysis. I oversee all of our toy production, including quality control, inventory management, supply chain coordination, and manufacturing oversight for billions of individual items. I manage our Nice List database, which is actually a massive technological operation involving servers and algorithms and constant data updates from around the world. And on top of all of that, I do all the invisible work that keeps a household and a massive organization running that people never even think about.
So what you're telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that you are essentially the chief executive officer of Christmas. You're running the entire operation from top to bottom. Is that accurate?
I suppose I am the CEO, yes. I've been doing this job at this level for decades now, maybe even longer if I'm being completely honest about it. I just never had that official title, and more importantly, nobody outside of the North Pole ever knew about it.
Why not? Why didn't you have that title? Why didn't the world know that you were the one actually running Christmas behind the scenes all this time? Help us understand how this happened and why it's remained hidden for so long.
When we first started this whole Christmas operation together, things were much simpler and smaller in scope. It was just the two of us and a very small team of helpers. He was the face of Christmas, the one that children believed in and wrote letters to. And I was genuinely happy to support that mission and support him. I loved him deeply. I still do. I believed in what we were building together. And honestly, at that time, I didn't feel like I needed public recognition or credit. The work itself was enough for me.
But something changed over time. Something shifted in how you felt about this arrangement. When did you start to realize that maybe the recognition and acknowledgement actually did matter to you after all?
When he started really struggling and falling apart, I had this moment of clarity that changed everything. I realized that I'd been running 80% of Christmas, maybe even more, for decades. And the world had absolutely no idea that I existed beyond being Santa's wife. Children don't write letters to me asking for help with their problems, even though I'm the one actually reading all of those letters and making most of the final decisions. The media doesn't interview me about Christmas. History books don't mention my name. It's like my life's work doesn't exist.
How does that feel, being invisible like that? Having your entire life's work, decades and decades of incredibly hard work, just completely unacknowledged by the world? That must be incredibly painful and frustrating.
Honestly, Kelly, it feels like being a ghost. Like you're working incredibly hard every single day, making crucial decisions, solving massive problems, keeping everything running smoothly, and it's like your whole existence doesn't even register to anyone outside these walls. Your work just vanishes into thin air.
I think every woman watching this right now just felt that description deep in their souls. So many women do invisible labor every single day that nobody sees or acknowledges or appreciates. So what are the two of you doing about this? What does the future look like for you?
We're making really significant changes, Kelly. Big, transformative changes to how we operate Christmas and how we operate our relationship. I'm actively stepping back from day-to-day operations completely. I'm in therapy twice a week with a professional counselor. I'm taking prescribed medication to help manage my symptoms, and I'm learning how to let go.
When you say you're learning to let go, what specifically are you letting go of? What are you releasing?
I'm letting go of control, of the idea that I have to be the one personally doing everything to make Christmas work. I'm letting go of the specific identity that I've built my entire existence around for 800 years. I'm letting go of being Santa Claus as the world knows him.
And while he's stepping back, I'm actively stepping forward into a leadership role for the first time publicly. This year, I will be leading Christmas Eve operations. I'll be the one sitting in the sleigh, holding the reins, delivering presents to children all around the world.
Wait, hold on. What? You're going to be doing the actual Christmas Eve delivery this year? You're going to be in the sleigh flying around the world? Is that what you just said?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I've already been training extensively with the reindeer for months now. I know every single delivery route by heart because I've been planning them for years. I've done multiple test runs already, and honestly, Kelly, I'm completely ready for this. I've been ready for this for a very long time. probably longer than I was willing to admit to myself. This isn't something sudden or impulsive. This is something that's been building toward this moment for decades, and now it's finally time to make it happen.
I have to ask this because I'm curious. How do the reindeer feel about this change? I mean, they've been working with Santa for centuries. What was their reaction when they found out you'd be taking over?
They're genuinely excited about it, Kelly. Rudolph actually told me in private that I'm a significantly better driver than Santa. I'm more focused, I don't make unnecessary sudden stops for cookies at every single house, and I'm better at reading the wind patterns for smoother flight.
It's absolutely true. I have to admit, she doesn't get distracted by fresh cookies nearly as easily as I do. I'd smell cookies baking and completely lose focus on the schedule. She's much more disciplined and professional about maintaining the timeline throughout the night.
Okay, so I have to ask the question that I know everyone watching is thinking right now. Santa, how do you really, truly feel about this? This is an absolutely massive change to everything. Are you honestly okay with your wife essentially taking over Christmas?
Kelly, I want to be very clear about this because it's important. I'm not just okay with it. I'm deeply grateful for it. She's not taking over something that was mine and mine alone. She's finally getting proper credit and recognition for work she's been doing all along for years. And honestly, if I'm being completely truthful, Christmas is going to be better with her leading it than it was with me. She's genuinely brilliant at operations and logistics. She's incredibly capable. She's everything that I've been desperately trying to be but couldn't maintain anymore.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. The love and respect between you two is just so evident. Mrs. Claus, what do you want people watching this to really understand about this decision you're making?
I want people to understand clearly that this isn't about replacing Santa or erasing him from Christmas or pretending he never existed. This is about real partnership, genuine partnership. Not one person carrying all the weight while another person gets all the public credit and recognition. This is about two people working together as true equals, using their individual strengths, supporting each other through struggles and challenges, and both being visible and valued for their contributions. That's what real partnership looks like, and that's what we're building now.
And I want people to know, especially men watching this, that asking for help isn't weakness. Admitting publicly that you're struggling isn't failure, and letting someone else shine brightly doesn't diminish your own light or make you less important. It actually makes both lights brighter.
That is so incredibly powerful. Thank you both for sharing that wisdom. So give us the timeline. When can people expect to see these changes actually happening in the real world?
This Christmas, this year, December 24th, I will be in that sleigh delivering presents around the world. This isn't something we're planning for next year or thinking about for the future. This is happening right now, in just a few weeks.
And Santa, what will you be doing while she's out there delivering presents? Where will you be on Christmas Eve this year?
I'll be at the North Pole headquarters, carefully tracking her progress on all our monitoring systems, watching her succeed, cheering her on from home. And for the first time in 800 years, I'll be genuinely trusting someone else with Christmas. Trusting her.
Before we wrap up, I want to give you both a chance to speak directly to people who might be in similar situations. Mrs. Claus, what would you say to women who are doing all the work but not getting any recognition?
I would say this. Document what you actually do every single day. Make your contributions visible and tangible. Don't wait around hoping someone will eventually notice on their own. Tell them directly. Tell your partner. Tell your boss. Tell yourself. Your work matters. Your contribution matters enormously, and you deserve to be seen.
Perfect. And Santa, what would you say to men who are struggling with mental health issues but are afraid to ask for help because they think it makes them weak?
I would say that the bravest, most courageous thing I've ever done in my entire 800 years wasn't delivering presents to billions of children around the world. It was finally admitting out loud that I couldn't do it alone anymore. Your strength isn't in suffering silently. Your strength is in honesty.
You two, thank you so much for being here today and for being so incredibly honest and vulnerable with us. I know this conversation is going to help so many people who are watching and going through similar struggles in their own lives.
Thank you for giving us this platform to tell our story, Kelly. We really appreciate it.
This is just the beginning of a much larger conversation that needs to happen in our society. We're so grateful to be part of starting it.
Well, speaking of conversations, we want to hear from all of you watching this right now. In the comments section below this video, we want you to vote and tell us what you think about everything you just heard here today. Here's the question we're asking. Should Mrs. Claus lead Christmas permanently from now on, or should this just be a temporary transition while Santa recovers his health? Comment the letter A if you think Mrs. Claus should lead Christmas permanently. Comment the letter B if you think this should be temporary. Your votes and your comments are going to actually help shape what happens next in their story, so make sure you participate. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, everybody, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We really appreciate you having us here today and giving us this opportunity to share our truth.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We really appreciate you having us here today and giving us this opportunity to share our truth.
What an absolutely incredible and moving conversation that was. Make sure you comment below with your vote, either A or B, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next episode.